Amanda Wheels had lived 69 years without asking for much. Widowed at 52, dismissed by her children, mocked by men who saw her age before they saw her, she'd learned to shrink herself small. But on a cold Tuesday in February, standing in the rain outside a Seoul nightclub where shadows moved like sharks beneath neon lights, she made a decision that would detonate her entire existence. She wanted one thing: the Korean Mafia boss known only as Tae-min to fulfill desires she'd buried for 17 years. When Tae-min finally agreed, his dark eyes scanning her curvy silhouette with something between curiosity and calculation, Amanda expected a transaction. One night, a memory to warm her final decades. She got an explosion instead. Cheat, because what Amanda didn't know was that fulfilling her desires would crack open something ancient inside her. 69 years of suppressed intelligence, survival instincts honed in America's cruelest neighborhoods, and a fury she'd forgotten she possessed. The Mafia world she'd entered as a supplicant would soon learn what happens when you give a woman who survived everything a reason to surge forward. This is that story. Before the story continues, let me say this: if any of these stories comfort you, entertain you, or make you feel understood, please subscribe. It's free, but it means everything to this channel. Now, let's continue. The underground club smelled like expensive cologne and barely concealed violence. Amanda's hands trembled as she clutched her worn purse, feeling every one of her 69 years pressing down on her shoulders. Around her, young women in designer dresses laughed with men whose tailored suits couldn't hide the guns beneath. She didn't belong here. She knew it. They knew it. But she'd come anyway. You're persistent. The voice cut through the bass-heavy music, smooth and dangerous. Tae-min stood 3 feet away, tall and lean, maybe 45, with the kind of face that had ordered deaths without flinching. His dark suit fit him like a weapon. "Third night you've waited outside my club." Amanda met his gaze. "Don't look weak. Don't apologize for wanting something. I told your men what I want. You told them you want me." His smile didn't reach his eyes. "Specifically, for one night, you're either brave or stupid." "I'm 69 years old," Amanda said. I'm surprised by the steadiness in her voice. I stopped caring about the difference. Something flickered across his face. Interest, maybe, or amusement. He gestured toward a back hallway, dismissing the 2 bodyguards who'd been hovering. Amanda followed, her heart hammering but her steps firm. The hallway led to a private room, all black leather and low lighting. He poured 2 glasses of something amber, handed her one. "Why me?" Tae-min asked. "Seoul has younger men, safer men." Amanda sipped the whiskey, felt it burn. Good. She wanted to feel everything tonight. "I've been safe my whole life. Married safe, lived safe, died safe while my heart was still beating." She set down the glass. "My husband passed 17 years ago. My children barely call. Last month, my son told me I should be grateful they put me in a nice nursing home next year." She laughed, sharp and bitter. "I have maybe 15 good years left. I want one night that makes me remember I'm alive. And you chose a mafia boss. I chose someone who looks like he takes what he wants without apologizing." She held his stare. "I want that, for once." Tae-min studied her, his expression unreadable. The silence stretched. Then, "You understand what I am, what world this is. I survived Detroit in the 70s. I know violence. Knowing and living in it are different. Then teach me." His eyebrows lifted slightly. "You're not what I expected." He moved closer, and Amanda forced herself not to retreat. His hand traced the curve of her hip, testing, claiming. "One night, you get what you ask for, then you leave. No attachments. No drama." "Agreed. And if you see things, hear things, while you're here. I'm 69, not deaf or blind, but I'm also not stupid enough to repeat mafia business." Tae-min's smile finally touched his eyes. "Then let's begin, Amanda Wheels." The penthouse suite 3 floors above the club was brutally elegant. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul's glittering sprawl, minimalist furniture that probably cost more than Amanda's yearly pension. Tae-min locked the door behind them with a soft click that made her pulse spike. "Nervous?" he asked. "Terrified," Amanda admitted, "but I'm doing it anyway." He approached slowly, giving her space to retreat. She didn't. His fingers traced her jawline, tilted her face up. "You're beautiful," he said quietly. "Not for 69. Just beautiful." The compliment hit harder than she expected. When was the last time someone had said that? When had she last believed it? His kiss was controlled, demanding, pulling responses from her body she'd thought dead. Amanda gasped against his mouth, her hands fisting in his shirt. Somewhere in the back of her mind, she registered the hardness of a shoulder holster, the subtle shift of his body that kept exits visible. Even in intimacy, he was a predator. But tonight, she didn't care. Clothes shed like old skin. His hands mapped her curves, the softness of age, the marks of childbirth and time, with something like reverence. "You feel real," Timon murmured against her collarbone. "Not like the hollow girls who throw themselves at me." "I've lived," Amanda whispered. "Every mark tells a story. Tell me." So she did. Between kisses and touches that set her nerve endings on fire, Amanda talked about her husband who'd loved her quietly until cancer took him, about her children who saw her as an obligation, about decades of making herself smaller, quieter, less. Timon listened, his hands never stopping their exploration, and when he finally claimed her completely, Amanda felt something crack open inside her chest, not breaking, but hatching. Afterward, tangled in silk sheets with Soul's lights painting patterns on the ceiling, Amanda waited for regret. It didn't come. Instead, she felt alert, aware, like she'd been sleepwalking for years and had suddenly snapped awake. "You're smiling," Timon observed, propped on one elbow beside her. "I feel alive." She traced the tattoo on his ribs, a dragon consuming its tail. "Gee, thank you." "Don't thank me yet." His tone shifted, became businesslike. "Before you leave, understand something. My world doesn't have innocent bystanders. Tonight, you're under my protection. But tomorrow I'm a civilian again. I understand." A phone buzzed. Timon checked it, his jaw tightening. "Problem?" Amanda asked. He glanced at her, calculating. "My logistics chief just got arrested. Cops found evidence I know he didn't leave lying around." Amanda's mind, sharp from decades of managing household budgets and outthinking creditors after her husband's death, clicked into gear. "Someone planted it. Who benefits from your supply chain disrupted?" Timon's eyes narrowed. "The Bayek family. We've been competing for the same shipping routes." He stood, pulling on pants. "But they'd need inside information about our warehouses." "Then you have a leak." Amanda sat up, sheet clutched to her chest. "Someone who knows your operations and has access to the Bayeks." "You're quick," she shrugged. "I've been playing chess with bill collectors for 20 years. Strategy isn't that different." Timon studied her with new intensity. "Your one night is over, Amanda. You should go." But Amanda found herself asking, "What if I stayed?" "Why would you?" "Because for the first time in 17 years, someone's actually listening to what I think instead of patting my head and making decisions for me." She met his gaze. "And because you're in trouble, I can tell. This isn't your world. Maybe it should be." The silence stretched. Then Timon's phone buzzed again, 3 short bursts. His expression went cold. "Get dressed, quickly." "What's happening?" "The Bayeks are hitting my warehouse tonight." He tossed her clothes, already moving. "I need to—" "Take me with you," Amanda said. "Absolutely not. I've seen gang wars, Timon. Detroit, remember? And I'm smart. You said so yourself." She dressed rapidly, ignoring the voice screaming that this was insane. "You need people you can trust. I'm nobody. I have no connections to betray you to." He paused at the door. "You could die. I've been dying slowly for 17 years. I'd rather go out fast if it comes to that." For 3 heartbeats, Timon just looked at her. Then he grabbed a second gun from a drawer, checked it, and handed it to her. "Safety's here. Don't shoot unless I tell you. Stay behind me." And Amanda?" "Yes?" "Welcome to the Surge." The warehouse squatted in Seoul's industrial district like a sleeping giant. Amanda crouched in the passenger seat of Timon's Mercedes as he killed the engine 2 blocks away. 3 other black cars pulled up behind them, his men, hard-eyed and heavily armed. "Status," Timon barked into his phone. "Confirmed. 6 hostiles inside. They're loading my product into their trucks." He ended the call, turned to Amanda. "Last chance. My driver can take you back." "No." The gun felt heavy in her purse, but Amanda's hands were steady. The fear was still there, acid in her throat, but underneath it ran something new. Excitement. Purpose. "What's the plan?" "We go in fast. Secure the product. Send a message." His eyes were flat. Killer's eyes. "People will die tonight." "Amanda, I understand." "Do you?" He grabbed her chin, forcing her to look at him. "I'm not playing gangster. This is real. If you hesitate, if you panic, you'll get yourself or my men killed." "Then don't let me hesitate." Amanda pulled back. "Tell me what to do." Timon's lips quirked. "Stay with Hyunwoo." He gestured to a stocky man with a scar bisecting his eyebrow. "He'll keep you at the perimeter. Watch, learn, and for God's sake, keep your head down." They moved like shadows, slipping through chain-link fences and around security cameras. Timon seemed to know by heart. Amanda's pulse thundered in her ears, but her breathing stayed controlled. She'd spent 69 years managing panic, abusive father, difficult births, financial ruin, widowhood. This was just another kind of crisis. The warehouse doors exploded inward with a controlled blast. Gunfire erupted immediately, sharp cracks that made Amanda flinch despite herself. Hyunwoo pulled her behind a concrete pillar, his body shielding hers. Through the chaos, she watched Timon move, fluid, economical, deadly. He put down two men before they could raise their weapons, barked orders in Korean that sent his team flowing around obstacles like water. The Beck enforcers fought back hard. One broke through the line, sprinting toward Amanda's position. Hyunwoo stepped forward, but Amanda saw the glint of metal, a second gun the man was pulling. "Left side!" she shouted. Hyunwoo pivoted, fired. The attacker dropped. "Good eyes!" Hyunwoo grunted. The firefight lasted maybe 3 minutes, but felt like hours. Well, when the warehouse fell silent, except for groaning and dripping sounds Amanda tried not to identify, Taemin emerged from the smoke. Blood spattered his white shirt. Not his, she realized. "Secure the perimeter," he ordered. "Get Park medical attention, and somebody call cleanup." His gaze found Amanda. "You screamed a warning. He had a second weapon. Your man didn't see it. You saved Hyunwoo's life." Taemin crossed to her, searched her face. "How do you feel?" Amanda took inventory, shaking hands, racing heart, but underneath, alive. "Really, truly alive. You're insane." "Probably." She looked around at the aftermath. His men efficiently zip-tying survivors, checking bodies, photographing evidence. "This is your normal?" "Twice a month, to minimum." "And you're always outnumbered?" "Usually." Amanda's mind clicked through what she'd seen. The attack pattern, the positioning, the timing. They knew you'd come. This was a trap. They wanted you at the warehouse. Taemin went very still. "Explain." "They hit your warehouse tonight. Your logistics chief gets arrested this morning. That's not coincidence. They're forcing you to respond personally, spreading your resources thin." She pointed to the remaining Bayek soldiers being restrained. "These men are expendable. The real attack is happening somewhere else." "Fuck!" Taemin grabbed his phone. "The club! They're hitting my club!" He was already running, shouting orders. Amanda ran after him, Hyunwoo cursing behind her. They made it to the Mercedes in seconds. Taemin drove like a demon, weaving through Seoul traffic while barking coordinates into his phone. Amanda braced herself against the dashboard, her earlier terror replaced by crystalline focus. How many men at the club? 4 on rotation, plus civilians, maybe 50 people. The Bayeks want civilian casualties. Makes you look weak, unable to protect your territory. You're thinking like them. I'm thinking like someone who's been underestimated her whole life. Amanda checked the gun he'd given her, surprised by how natural it felt. When people dismiss you, you learn to see patterns they miss. Taemin glanced at her, something fierce in his expression. "You're wasted in retirement," Amanda wheels. They screeched to a halt outside the club just as gunfire erupted inside. Taemin was out and moving before Amanda could process it. He was diving through the front entrance with 3 of his men. She followed, ignoring Hyunwoo's protests, and found herself in strobing chaos, civilians screaming, bottles shattering, the distinct crack of small arms fire. A Bayek enforcer appeared from behind the bar, gun rising toward Taemin's exposed back. Amanda didn't think. She raised her weapon, sighted, and fired. The recoil shocked her, sent her stumbling backward, but the enforcer dropped. Taemin spun, saw her, saw what she'd done. "Behind you!" she shouted, pointing. He moved, took down 2 more attackers in quick succession. The fight spilled across the club's main floor, brutal, close quarters, vicious. Amanda stayed low, her heart slamming against her ribs, the gun heavy in her shaking hands. She'd just shot a man. She'd just killed someone. But she'd also saved Taemin's life. When the last Bayek soldier fell, Taemin's men secured the space with practiced efficiency. Civilians huddled in corners, phones out, filming. This would be all over social media within minutes. Taemin moved through the carnage, checking his people, ensuring the injured got attention. Then he turned to Amanda. "You shot him," he said quietly. "I did. You killed him." "Yes." Her voice didn't shake. "Interesting. Is that a problem?" "Most civilians would be vomiting right now." "I'm not most civilians." Amanda lowered the gun, engaged the safety like he'd shown her. "And I think we established I'm not civilian anymore." Taemin stepped closer, his eyes searching hers. "You crossed a line tonight, Amanda. There's no going back from killing." "Good." She met his gaze. "I don't want to go back. Back is slow death in a nursing home, forgotten and invisible. This," she gestured at the chaos around them, "this is living. This is war. Then teach me how to fight." For a long moment, Taemin just stared at her. Then he laughed, a sharp, disbelieving sound. "You're 69 years old, and I just saved your life twice in one night." Amanda felt something massive shifting inside her, like tectonic plates rearranging after 69 years of stillness. "I spent decades being told I was too old, too soft, too conventional. But tonight, I'm faster, smarter, and braver than I've ever been. Don't you dare tell me age makes me useless." "I wasn't going to." Taemin glanced at his men, who were watching with barely concealed shock. "Everyone out. I need to talk to Mrs. Wheels alone." They cleared the club, not taking the civilians and the bodies. Amanda stood in the wreckage, overturned tables, broken glass, bullet holes scoring the walls, and waited. The adrenaline was fading now, replaced by a crystalline clarity that made everything sharp-edged and vivid. "The Becks will retaliate," Timon said finally. "Tonight was a statement, but I hit them hard. They'll come at me with everything." So anyone close to me becomes a target. I understand. Do you? He closed the distance between them. "Because if you stay in my world, if this isn't just tonight's insanity, you'll be a target. They'll use you against me." Amanda considered that. Considered her empty apartment, her distracted children, her slow march toward institutional death. Then she thought about the surge of energy coursing through her veins, the way her mind had never felt sharper, the intoxicating rush of mattering again. "Let them try," she said. Tommen's expression shifted, respect mixing with something darker, more possessive. "You're serious?" "I haven't been this serious about anything in 17 years. She stepped closer. "I walked into your club asking for one night. You gave me that, but you also gave me something I didn't know I needed. A reason to surge forward instead of waiting to die. I'm not giving that up. Even if it kills you? Especially then. At least I'll die mattering." He cupped her face in his hands, and Amanda saw the calculation behind his eyes, weighing risk, benefit, consequences. "If you stay, you work. I don't keep pets or trophies. You'll learn my business, you'll be useful, and you'll follow orders." "Agreed. And Amanda, if you betray me, you'll kill me. I know." She smiled. "But I won't. You're the first person in decades who's seen me as something other than an inconvenient old woman. That kind of recognition earns loyalty." Tommen kissed her then, hard, claiming, dangerous. When he pulled back, his smile was sharp. "Welcome to the surge, Mrs. Wheels. Let's see how high you can fly. What drives you forward when the world tells you to slow down? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Love Intention for more stories that challenge everything you thought you knew about power and age. Dawn broke over Seoul as Timon's driver deposited Amanda at a high-rise apartment she'd never seen before. "This is yours now," Timon said, leading her through a sleek space with panoramic windows and furniture that screamed money. "Top floor. Security on rotation. My men will check in every 4 hours." Amanda set down her purse, still containing the gun, and turned to face him. "What now?" "Now you rest. Tonight starts your real education." "I'm not tired." "You will be." He moved toward the door. "One of my people will bring clothes, documents, everything you need. Your phone's been replaced." He handed her a sleek black device. "Encrypted, untraceable. The only numbers in it are mine and my inner circle." "What about my children? My apartment?" "Handled. They'll think you're on an extended vacation. When you're ready to contact them, if you're ready, we'll arrange something secure." Amanda should have felt panic at how thoroughly he was severing her old life. Instead, she felt relief. "You work fast." "I have to. The Bayeks won't wait for us to organize." Tommen paused at the door. "Last night you proved you can handle violence, but my world isn't just shooting. It's strategy, logistics, psychology. You need to understand all of it. So teach me." "I will, but Amanda," his tone sharpened, "this isn't a game. One mistake and you're dead. Or worse, you get someone else killed." "I understand." "Do you? Because you're high on adrenaline right now. When that wears off, when you realize you took a life, you might feel differently." Amanda met his gaze steadily. "I already know I killed that man. I've been thinking about it since we left the club. And you know what I feel?" "What?" "Grateful. He was going to kill you. I stopped him. That makes me useful. That makes me matter." She moved closer. "I spent 17 years being useless, Timon. Last night, I saved lives. Don't take that away from me by assuming I'm too fragile to handle the consequences." Something flickered in his expression. Surprise, respect, maybe desire. "You're extraordinary." "I'm 69 and finally awake." She touched his chest, felt his heartbeat under her palm. "Don't waste me on rest. I've rested for 17 years. Timon caught her hand, pressed it flat against him. "Tonight, 8 p.m., be ready to learn everything." Then he was gone, and Amanda was alone in her new life. Timon arrived precisely at 8, dressed in dark tactical gear that made him look like controlled violence incarnate. Amanda had spent the day pacing, thinking, planning. A woman named Ha Wan had delivered clothes, expensive, practical, nothing flashy, and Amanda had chosen black jeans, a fitted jacket, one-end boots that could run or fight in. "You look ready," Timon observed. "I am." He drove them to a warehouse district different from last night's battlefield. This building was larger, heavily secured, with men stationed at every entrance. Inside, it transformed into something between a command center and an arsenal. Computer banks, weapons racks, maps of Seoul covered in pins and markers. This is my real headquarters, Taman explained. The club is public face. This is where we actually operate. Amanda absorbed everything, her mind cataloging details with the same attention she'd once given to grocery coupons and sales flyers. The difference was scale. How many people work for you? Directly? 43. Indirectly? Maybe 200. He pulled up a chair at the central table, gestured for her to sit. I run 3 main operations: smuggling high-end goods through Busan port, protection for businesses in Gangnam, and information brokering. The Becks want the port access. Last night was them trying to break my hold, by making you look weak. Exactly. He spread maps across the table. I've held these territories for 8 years, but leadership in this world isn't about being strongest. It's about being smartest. The Bayeks think they can outsmart me. Amanda studied the maps, seeing patterns in the marked locations. Your protection clients are all clustered, efficient for collection, but vulnerable to coordinated attacks. Good eye. What else? She traced routes with her finger. Your smuggling operation runs through 3 warehouses, but only one has direct port access. If I wanted to hurt you, I'd hit that one, which is exactly what they'll do next. Timon pulled up surveillance footage on a laptop. Warehouse 7, my most valuable location. I've tripled security, but the Bayeks have resources. They'll hit it within 48 hours. So why wait for them? Amanda asked. Why not hit them first? Because I don't know where their headquarters is. They've been careful. Amanda thought about that, her mind working through possibilities like she used to work through her husband's medical bills, finding patterns, angles, weaknesses. They arrested your logistics chief. He knows where Bayek operations are, right? He does. But he's in custody. Can you get him out? Possibly, but it would expose my connections in the police force. Then don't get him out. Visit him, publicly. Amanda warmed to her theory. Make it look like you're desperate trying to get information. The Becks will think you're weak, scrambling. They'll get confident. Confident people make mistakes. Timon leaned back, studying her. You're suggesting psychological warfare. I'm suggesting you use their assumptions against them. They think you're a blunt instrument, violence and territory. Show them exactly what they expect while your real operation runs underneath. And what would my real operation be? Amanda smiled. You tell me. I've only been in this world for 24 hours. He laughed, genuine, surprised. All right, here's what we do. For the next 3 hours, Timon walked Amanda through his organization's structure, explaining supply chains, payment systems, and the delicate balance of terror and respect that kept his empire functioning. Amanda absorbed it all, asking sharp questions that made him pause and reconsider. You're a natural at this, he said finally. I'm a black woman who survived Detroit in the 70s and raised 3 kids on welfare and spite. Strategy isn't new to me, just the stakes. The stakes are life and death. The stakes were always life and death. You just didn't notice because I wasn't carrying a gun. Timon's expression softened. Rare vulnerability. I need to know something, Amanda. Why did you really come to my club? She considered lying, then decided he'd earned truth. Because I was disappearing. Every day I felt myself fading. Conversations where people talked over me, stores where clerks looked through me, family dinners where I was furniture. I'm 69, Taemin. Society decided I'm done. But I'm not ready to be done. So you chose danger. I chose to be seen. She met his gaze. You see me. Not as a charity case or an obligation, as someone useful, someone powerful. I'd die for that feeling. You might. Good. He reached across the table, took her hand. His touch was warm, grounding. I need to tell you something. Last night, watching you in that warehouse, watching you shoot that man to save me, something changed. What? I've spent 20 years building this empire alone, trusting no one completely, never letting anyone see the full picture. He squeezed her hand. But you're different. You're not here for money or status. You're here because you want to matter. That makes you dangerous in the best way. Amanda felt the surge again, that explosive energy that had detonated inside her last night. But what are you saying? I'm saying I want you as my partner. Not just for the Bayek situation, for everything. You barely know me. I know you killed to protect me. I know you think 3 moves ahead. I know you're not afraid to die. His thumb traced circles on her wrist. In my world, that's all the information that matters. And what would a partnership look like? You learn my business. All of it. You help me strategize, grow, consolidate. And when I need someone I can trust absolutely, someone with no agenda except staying alive and mattering, I have you. It should have felt too fast. Too much. But Amanda had spent 17 years in slow death. Fast sounded perfect. What's in it for me? Purpose, power, protection? His smile turned predatory. And me. That's quite an offer. It's the only one I'm making. Amanda thought about her empty apartment, her distant children, her narrowing future. Then she thought about last night, the gunfire, the surge, the intoxicating rush of being essential. Yes, just like that, just like that. Timon pulled her across the table, kissed her hard enough to leave her breathless. Then let's start your real education. 2 days later, Amanda stood in Timon's headquarters at 3 a.m., watching surveillance feeds of Warehouse 7. Everything was in place. Additional guards, reinforced doors, hidden cameras. They'd leaked information through a controlled channel that the warehouse was vulnerable tonight, banking on the Bayeks taking the bait. They're moving, one of Timon's tech specialists announced. 3 vehicles. 15 men. On schedule. Timon stood beside Amanda, his presence calm and controlled. Remember the plan? We let them breach the perimeter, spring the trap when they're committed. Amanda's pulse was steady. The fear was there, but manageable. Your men take them alive if possible, dead if necessary. And you? I watch and learn. Wrong. He handed her a tactical vest heavier than it looked. You're coming with me. Time in. You want it to matter, Amanda. This is what that means. You don't get to stay safe while others risk their lives for your strategies. He was right. She knew he was right. But knowing didn't stop the ice flooding her veins. Okay, you'll stay with me. Follow my lead. And Amanda? Yes? Don't hesitate. Hesitation kills. They took 2 cars, Timon, Amanda, and 6 of his best fighters. The warehouse loomed against Seoul's night sky. Windows dark, looking abandoned. Perfect bait. They parked 3 blocks away and moved in on foot, using shadows and silence like weapons. The Bayek team hit the warehouse exactly when predicted, cutting through the fence, disabling cameras they thought were the only surveillance, moving toward the main doors with military precision. Amanda watched from their concealed position, counting men, noting weapons, tracking patterns. They're good, she whispered. They're arrogant, Timon corrected. Watch. The Bayek team breached the doors. Lights blazed. Gunfire erupted, but not from Timon's men, from automated defenses they'd installed that afternoon. The Bayek soldiers scattered, trying to find cover, and that's when Timon's people moved in from hidden positions. It was choreographed chaos, Timon's men appearing from impossible angles, pinning the Bayeks in a kill zone. Amanda's strategic advice had worked. They'd turned the warehouse into a trap, and the Bayeks had walked right in. But then Amanda saw him, a young Bayek soldier, maybe 19, breaking through the perimeter and running straight toward their position. He hadn't seen them yet, but in seconds he would, and he'd either shoot or raise the alarm. Timon, she hissed. I see him. The boy, because that's what he was, barely more than a child, skidded around the corner and froze. His gun came up. Amanda's body moved before her brain caught up, tackling Timon sideways as shots rang out. They hit the ground hard, and she felt Timon's weapon discharge beside her ear, deafening. When she looked up, the boy was down. You saved me again, Timon said, already moving, checking the body. Amanda's hands shook now. The boy couldn't have been older than her youngest grandson. He was just a kid. He was pointing a gun at us. Timon hauled her up. Are you hit? No. Are you? No. He scanned the area. The warehouse is secure. My men have 8 prisoners. But Amanda, we need to move. If this one got out, others might. An explosion lit the night. The warehouse, their trap, their victory, erupted in flames. Timon swore viciously, already running. Amanda followed, her mind racing. The Bayeks had sacrificed their own men to destroy Timon's most valuable asset. It was brilliant and brutal. They reached a safe distance as the warehouse burned. Timon's men regrouped, faces grim. Anyone inside? He demanded. No, sir. Now we cleared everyone out. Casualties? 2 wounded. Nothing serious. And the prisoners? Secured in the backup location. Timon nodded, but Amanda could see the fury in his clenched jaw. They'd won the battle, but lost something more valuable. Territory, face, psychological advantage. The Bayeks had turned his victory into embarrassment. They knew, Amanda said quietly. They knew we'd set a trap. How? Your leak, the controlled channel you used to feed them information. Her mind worked through possibilities. Someone in your organization is feeding them real intelligence. They walked into your trap knowing it was a trap, planning to sacrifice their men and take your warehouse anyway. Timon went very still. You're saying I have a traitor. I'm saying the Becks are 3 moves ahead, and yes, someone's helping them. For 5 seconds, Timon just stared at the burning building. Then, everyone back to headquarters. Now, Amanda, with me. The drive back was tense, silent. Amanda's mind wouldn't stop spinning. A traitor in Timon's organization meant everything was compromised. Locations, strategies, maybe even this headquarters. They needed to identify the leak fast or nothing was secure. At headquarters, Timon gathered his inner circle, 8 people who'd been with him longest. Amanda recognized Hyun Woo, the scarred man who'd protected her at the first warehouse. The others were new faces, all hard-eyed and dangerous. "We have a problem," Tai-min said flatly. "The Bayeks knew about tonight's trap. Someone here is feeding them information." The room erupted in denials and accusations. Tai-min let it run for 30 seconds, then slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. Amanda, tell them your theory." She hadn't expected to be put on the spot, but the surge kicked in, that crystalline clarity that had been growing stronger every day. The leak had to know 3 things: that we were setting a trap, that we'd use Warehouse 7, and that we'd put the majority of our forces there. That narrows it to people in this room or the tech specialists who helped set up surveillance. It could be external, one man argued. Hacked communications. Possible, Amanda agreed. But the timing's too perfect. They hit the warehouse at exactly the moment we were most committed. That's not hacked intelligence. That's real-time coordination. "So what do we do?" Hyunwoo asked. "Interrogate everyone?" "That'll tear us apart." Amanda looked at Tai-min. "You need to think like they do. What would you do if you were the traitor?" He considered. "I'd try to deflect attention, probably by feeding them false information about someone else being the leak." "Exactly. So we give them the chance." An idea crystallized. Feed different information to different people. Set up 3 scenarios, each known only to specific individuals. Whichever scenario the Becks respond to tells us who's leaking. The room fell silent. Then, one woman, Min Seo, Tai-min's financial officer, spoke up. "That's actually brilliant." "It's textbook counterintelligence," another man said. "But it takes time." "We don't have time," Tai-min said. "But we're doing it anyway. Amanda, work with Min Seo to set up the scenarios. Everyone else, you're each getting different assignments starting tonight. And gentlemen, ladies," his voice dropped to something lethal. "Whoever is betraying me should know that when I find you, death will be a mercy you won't receive." The meeting broke up. Amanda found herself alone with Tai-min in his office, exhaustion finally catching up with her adrenaline. "I watched you tonight," he said quietly. "You tackled me without thinking, saved my life for the 3rd time. You'd do the same, would I?" He moved closer. "I've survived this long by being selfish, Amanda, by putting my survival above everything. But watching you tonight, this 69-year-old woman throwing herself in front of a gun for me, it makes me wonder if I've been doing it wrong." "You've been doing it alone," Amanda said. "That's different, is it?" She touched his face, feeling the stubble rough against her palm. "The surge isn't just about me, Tai-min. It's about what happens when people who've survived everything finally find something worth fighting for. I found that in you, in this world, in mattering again." He kissed her, desperate, claiming, grateful. When they broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. "If we survive this, I'm going to give you an empire. I don't want an empire. I just want to keep surging forward. Then let's go faster." It took 48 hours to set up the scenarios. Amanda worked with Min Seo, crafting 3 different pieces of intelligence that they fed to separate groups within Tai-min's organization. Scenario 1, a false shipment arriving at Incheon port, known only to Hyunwoo and his security team. Scenario 2, a meeting with a corrupt police official known only to the tech specialists. Scenario 3, a cash transfer to offshore accounts known only to Min Seo and 2 financial officers. They waited. Amanda barely slept, her mind too sharp, too alert. The surge was growing stronger, not just adrenaline anymore, but something fundamental shifting inside her. 69 years of accumulated wisdom, survival instinct, and suppressed capability all coming online at once. On the 3rd day, the Bayeks moved. They hit the false shipment at Incheon port with overwhelming force. 30 men, military-grade weapons, perfect coordination. Tai-min's people watched from hidden positions as the Bayeks tore apart empty shipping containers, their frustration visible even from a distance. "Scenario 1, Tai-min said into his encrypted phone. The leak is in Hyunwoo's team." Amanda felt sick. Hyunwoo had protected her, trusted her, but the evidence was clear. "How do you want to handle it?" "Carefully. We don't know which of his men it is yet." Tai-min's jaw was tight. "Pull everyone back. We need to isolate the security team and—" His phone rang, not the encrypted one, his public line. He answered, listened, and his expression went dead. "Understood. I'm on my way." He turned to Amanda. "We have a bigger problem." "What?" "The Becks just hit all 3 scenarios simultaneously. Incheon port, the police meeting location, and they attempted to hack our financial accounts." Amanda's mind reeled. "That's impossible, unless all 3 groups have leaks, or—" Taemin's voice dropped to something dangerous. Or someone has access to all our communications." The implications hit Amanda like a physical blow. "Your headquarters is compromised, not just a person, the whole facility. We need to move, now." They evacuated in controlled chaos, Taiman's people grabbing essential equipment and files, while Amanda coordinated with Minseo to transfer digital assets to secure locations. Within 20 minutes, the headquarters was empty. Within 40, they'd scattered to prearranged safe houses across Seoul. Amanda found herself in a nondescript apartment in Gangnam with Taimin, Minseo, and Hyunwoo. The tension was suffocating. "Someone talk," Taimin demanded. "How did they get access to everything?" "The building's surveillance system," Minseo said, typing furiously on her laptop. "I'm checking the logs now. If they hacked our cameras, they could have monitored our planning sessions, read documents over shoulders, tracked everyone's movements." "How long?" Taiman's voice was ice. "Checking. Looks like 3 weeks. Maybe longer." 3 weeks. Amanda's tactical mind processed that. They've known everything for 3 weeks. Every strategy, every location, every conversation. Which means, Hyunwoo said grimly, they know about every safe house too. The room fell silent. Then Amanda laughed. Sharp, slightly unhinged. Everyone stared at her. "Don't you see? This is perfect." "Perfect?" Taiman demanded. "They've dismantled our entire operation." "No, they think they have." Amanda stood, pacing, the surge pushing her thoughts faster. "For 3 weeks they've watched us. They know our patterns, our resources, our people. They think they have total intelligence." "They do," Minseo said. "Exactly. Which means they're predictable now." Amanda turned to Taiman. "You said leadership in this world isn't about being strongest. It's about being smartest. The Bayeks outsmarted us by spying on everything. So now we outsmart them by giving them exactly what they expect." "Explain," Taiman ordered. Amanda's 69 years of pattern recognition, of predicting creditors and social workers and doctors, all crystallized into strategy. "They know your safe houses. They'll hit them systematically, thinking they're cornering you. So we abandon the safe houses and let them waste resources attacking empty locations while we regroup somewhere they've never seen." "Where?" "Somewhere that doesn't exist in your organization's records. Somewhere civilian. He's beneath their notice." She pulled out her phone, the encrypted one Taimin had given her. "I still have my old apartment. It's in my name. No connection to you. They won't think to look there." Hyunwoo shook his head. "That's too exposed. Civilian building, no security." "Which is exactly why it's perfect," Amanda interrupted. "They're hunting for Mafia infrastructure. They won't waste time on a retired black woman's pension-funded apartment." Taimin studied her, calculating. "How long have you been planning this?" "Since you told me someone was leaking information. I've spent 69 years being invisible to people who matter. Now I'm weaponizing that invisibility." A slow smile spread across his face. Proud, hungry. "Do it. Minseo, transfer everything we need to Amanda's location. Hyunwoo, maintain security protocols but make it look like we're panicking, bouncing between safe houses. I want the Bayeks thinking we're desperate." "And what are we actually doing?" Minseo asked. Amanda answered before Taimin could. "We're going to dismantle them from the inside. While they're hunting us, we're hunting their operation. They had access to our surveillance, we'll get access to theirs. They know our people, we'll identify theirs. And when they finally realize they've been chasing shadows, we hit them so hard they never recover." Taiman finished. His hand found Amanda's. "You're terrifying. I'm 69 and done being dismissed." Amanda's apartment felt surreal, with Taiman's operation crammed into it. Her modest living room, where she'd watched game shows and pretended not to feel invisible, now hosted computer banks and weapons. Minseo worked at Amanda's kitchen table, tracking Beck movements. Hyunwoo coordinated security from her bedroom. And Taiman stood at her window, watching Seoul with predator's eyes. "This is strange," he admitted, "operating from your actual home." "It's perfect camouflage." Amanda brought him coffee, instant, nothing fancy, but he drank it like it was expensive. "The Bayeks are sophisticated. They'll track your people, analyze patterns, predict moves. But they won't predict you hiding in a pension apartment in a boring neighborhood. You're enjoying this." "I really am." She meant it. The surge was constant now, not spikes of adrenaline, but a steady, powerful current of capability and purpose. "For 17 years, this apartment was my cage. Now it's our weapon," Minseo called out from the kitchen. "I've got something. The Bayeks surveillance system. They're not just watching cameras. They've got someone physically inside your old headquarters." "Who?" Taimin demanded. "Working on it. But whoever it is has been reporting directly to Bayek Sunwoo, their operations chief." Amanda moved to look at Minseo's screen. "Can you identify when they entered the building?" "Running that now." Minseo's fingers flew across the keyboard. "Got it. First entry was 3 weeks ago, like we thought. But the access card used was Hyunwoo's." Everyone turned to look at Hyunwoo, who'd gone very pale. "That's impossible. My cards never left my possession. Unless someone cloned it," Amanda said quietly. Her mind clicked through possibilities. 3 weeks ago. What happened then? Timon thought back. We had that situation at the port. Inspectors found contraband in one of my legitimate shipping containers. I thought it was bad luck. It was a setup, Amanda said. They got someone close enough to clone Hyunwoo's access card, probably during the port chaos, and have been using it to walk in and out of headquarters ever since. But who? Hyunwoo demanded. Who got that close to me? Minzio pulled up more data. According to the timestamps, whoever's using the cloned card enters the building at odd hours, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., times when most of your people aren't there. Night security rotation, Timon said. That narrows it to 5 people. We can narrow it further, Amanda suggested. Minzio, can you track the movements once they're inside? See what they access? On it. More typing. They're checking your office, the communications room, and, interesting, they spend a lot of time in the server room. That's where all our surveillance feeds route through, Hyunwoo explained. If they've been in there, they could have installed monitoring software, set up remote access, which means they're not just watching cameras, Taman interrupted. They have real-time access to everything. Amanda felt the pieces clicking together. So we give them something to watch. 3 hours later, they were ready. Timon discovered the surveillance compromise through his remaining loyal people and loudly announced he was moving his entire operation to a warehouse in Busan, far from Seoul, defensible, secure. Budi Bartsen Peichu would for Nidar. He made a big show of transferring assets, moving people, establishing new communications protocols. The Bayeks, watching through their compromised access, would see exactly what Min wanted them to see. An organization on the run, weak and disorganized. In reality, everything stayed in Amanda's apartment. They'll take the bait, Minseo predicted. They've invested too much in this intelligence operation to ignore such a perfect opportunity. And when they hit the Busan warehouse, Hyunwoo asked. They'll find it's a trap, Tamin said. Every person they send there will be monitored, tracked, identified. And while they're committed to Busan, we hit their real headquarters here in Seoul, Amanda finished. They'll be exposed, depleted. And we'll know exactly who's been betraying you, because they'll be the one coordinating with the Bayeks during the Busan attack. It was risky. It was elegant. And it relied entirely on the Bayeks underestimating a 69-year-old woman's apartment as a legitimate operations center. I've spent my whole life being underestimated, Amanda said. Let's make it pay off. The Bayeks moved on Busan exactly as predicted. 40 men, heavy weapons, complete commitment. Timon watched through hidden cameras as they breached the warehouse he'd deliberately left vulnerable. His people weren't there. Instead, Seoul police were, tipped off by anonymous intelligence about a major gang operation. The Becks walked into a law enforcement trap instead of a Mafia one. Beautiful, Minseo breathed, watching the arrests unfold on screen. But Amanda wasn't celebrating. She was watching different feeds, tracking the night security team at Timon's old headquarters. One person wasn't checking the Busan situation like the others. One person was on their phone, texting rapidly. There, she said, pointing. Daejung, he's coordinating with someone. Hyunwoo swore. I trained him, I trusted him. He's telling someone about Busan, Minseo confirmed, intercepting the texts. And he's asking about you, boss, where you really are. Timon's expression went dead calm. The look Amanda had learned meant extreme danger. Minseo, where's the Bayek headquarters? Working on it. If I can trace Daejung's texts. Got it. Industrial district, Songdong-gu. Looks like an electronics factory on the outside. How many people? Surveillance shows minimal presence now. Maybe 10 people. Everyone else went to Busan. Timon looked at Amanda. This is it. If we hit them now while they're exposed, we can end this. Then let's go. Amanda, I need you here. Coordinate with Minseo. Track. No. The surge flared, hot and undeniable. I didn't come this far to hide in my apartment while you finish it. I'm coming with you. It's too dangerous. Everything's been too dangerous. I killed for you. I strategized for you. I gave you my invisibility as a weapon. She stepped close, held his gaze. The surge isn't about hiding anymore, Timon. It's about charging forward at full speed. So either I come with you or I go alone. For 3 heartbeats, he just looked at her. Then, gear up. But you follow orders absolutely. Understood. Understood. They took 2 cars, Taman, Amanda, Hyunwoo, and 4 others. The drive to Seongdong-gu felt both eternal and instant. Amanda's hands were steady as she checked the gun Timon had given her, the same one from that first night, now familiar as an old friend. You've changed, Hyunwoo said from the front seat. I've woken up, Amanda corrected. The electronics factory looked exactly like what it pretended to be, industrial, boring, beneath notice. Perfect camouflage, just like Amanda's apartment. They approached from multiple angles, using darkness and training to get close. Movement inside, one of Timon's men reported. Count is correct. 10 people, minimal weapons visible. They're not expecting us, Taemin said. They think their intelligence is still secure. We use that. He outlined the plan quickly. Breach from 3 points simultaneously. Secure any prisoners for interrogation. Eliminate resistance. Simple. Brutal. Final. Amanda stayed with Taemin's group, moving through shadows toward the north entrance. Her heart hammered, but her mind was clear. Clearer than it had been in decades. The surge wasn't just energy anymore. It was purpose crystallized into action. They breached on Taemin's signal. The factory interior transformed from mundane to dangerous instantly. What looked like assembly lines were actually planning tables covered in maps and photographs. Taemin's photographs, his people's faces, his locations. The Bayeks had been planning total war. Gunfire erupted as the 10 defenders realized they were under attack, but they were disorganized, panicked, and outnumbered by people who'd trained together for years. Taemin's people moved like a machine, cornering the backs, securing exits, eliminating threats. Amanda found herself face-to-face with a woman, maybe 40, sharp-eyed, clearly intelligent. The woman's gun was rising, and Amanda didn't think, just fired. The recoil was familiar now. The woman dropped. "Clear!" Hyunwoo shouted. They'd done it. In less than 3 minutes, they'd neutralized the Bayek headquarters. Taemin moved through the space, collecting intelligence, photographing documents. Amanda followed, her gun still raised, covering him. Then she saw it. A laptop on a planning table, still logged in. She moved closer, saw files labeled with operation names. Taemin. He came over, looked at the screen, and smiled grimly. This is everything. Their operations, contacts, financial records. He started downloading files. With this, I can dismantle their entire network. Or take it over, Amanda suggested. He paused, looked at her. What? They're disorganized now. 40 men arrested in Busan, headquarters destroyed, leadership exposed. Her tactical mind saw the pattern. You don't just defend territory anymore. You expand into theirs, use their infrastructure, their contacts, turn their empire into yours. That's aggressive. That's the surge. Amanda felt it burning through her. 69 years of survival instinct saying, strike now, when they're weak, when they're scared. You wanted to give me an empire, let's take theirs instead. Taemin stared at her, something like awe in his expression. Then he laughed, loud, genuine, thrilled. You're absolutely insane. I'm 69 and finally living. Hyunwoo, Taemin shouted. Start securing this location. We're not destroying it. We're keeping it. The next hours blurred into organized chaos. Taemin's people flooded the factory, transforming it from Bayek headquarters into his own. They identified remaining Bayek operations from the captured files and hit them systematically. 3 stash houses, 2 protection rackets, a smuggling operation. By dawn, Taemin hadn't just defeated the Bayeks, he'd absorbed them. Amanda stood in what was now Taemin's expanded headquarters as the sun rose over Seoul. Her body ached, her hands trembled with exhaustion, but the surge still burned steady and strong. She'd come to this city wanting one night of feeling alive. She'd gotten a revolution instead. Taemin found her at the window, wrapped his arms around her from behind. We did it. You did it. I just helped. You did more than help. He turned her to face him. You saw possibilities I couldn't. Used weapons I didn't know existed. Amanda Wheels at 69 years old. You just conquered a Mafia empire. We conquered it? No. His tone was serious. This was your surge, your strategy, your invisibility, your refusal to be dismissed. I provided resources and muscle. You provided vision. Amanda let herself feel that, really feel the magnitude of what she'd accomplished in less than 2 weeks. From invisible retiree to Mafia strategist, from forgotten to essential. What happens now? She asked. Now? Taemin smiled. Now we consolidate, build, grow. You keep surging forward, and I keep following where you lead. I'm not a leader. You're exactly a leader. You just needed a war to prove it. Before we continue, tell me, when was the last time you felt truly alive? Comment below and hit subscribe to Love and Tension, because Amanda's surge is just getting started. The penthouse overlooking Gangnam bore no resemblance to Amanda's former pension apartment, yet somehow it felt more like home. Sleek, modern, secured by technology and armed guards, it represented everything her life had become. Dangerous, powerful, impossible to ignore. Amanda stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows, watching Seoul wake up beneath her. 6 weeks since that first night at Taemin's club. 6 weeks since she'd detonated her old life and built something new from the explosion. The surge hadn't stopped. If anything, it had intensified. You're up early. Timon's voice came from behind her, sleep rough and intimate. Couldn't sleep. Too much energy. He joined her at the window, still shirtless, his tattooed dragon visible in the dim light. You've been restless for days. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Amanda turned to face him. That's the problem. I keep waiting for the surge to fade, for reality to set in, for me to wake up and realize I'm just a 69-year-old woman playing at being dangerous. You're not playing. I know. That's what scares me. She gestured at their empire, visible in the city below, invisible in its mechanisms. 6 weeks ago, I was invisible. Now I'm running operations, making strategic decisions, coordinating with people who could kill me without hesitation, and I'm good at it. You're exceptional at it. But why now? The question had been eating at her. Why did it take me 69 years to discover I could do this? What was I doing for the first 68? Min considered that seriously. You were accumulating fuel. Every year, every experience, every time someone dismissed you, you were building pressure. The surge didn't come from nowhere, Amanda. It came from 69 years of compressed potential finally finding release. She wanted to believe that. Wanted to think her life hadn't been wasted, just delayed. Minseo's projections show we've increased revenue by 40% in 6 weeks. Because you saw opportunities I was blind to. The legitimate business fronts, the political connections, I know. Amanda cut him off gently. I know what I've done, but I also know what I've become. I've killed 4 people now, Taemin. 4 human beings are dead because of my decisions or my gun, and I don't feel guilty. I feel efficient. That bothers you, shouldn't it? He pulled her close, his hands warm on her waist. You want to know what I think? I think you've spent 69 years being told that women like you should be gentle, quiet, harmless, but that was never who you really were. You were always capable of this. You just weren't allowed to show it. So I'm not a monster? You're a survivor who finally found a battlefield that rewards survival. He kissed her forehead. And I'm grateful every day that you chose my battlefield. A knock interrupted them. Minseo entered, tablet in hand, all business. She'd become Amanda's closest ally over the past weeks. 2 women in a male-dominated world, bonding over spreadsheets and strategy. Morning. We have updates on the Bayek remnants. Talk to me, Taemin said. Most have folded into our operations peacefully. But there's a faction, maybe 15 people, refusing to submit. They're regrouping in Daejeon under Baek Sunwoo's cousin, Baek Ji-won. Amanda took the tablet, scanning the intelligence. Ji-won's younger, early 30s. Angry about what happened to her family's organization. And dangerous, Minseo added. She's reached out to other groups trying to build an alliance against us. Let her, Amanda said. Both Taemin and Minseo looked at her sharply. Explain, Taemin said. Ji-won is emotional, reactive. She'll move against us fast without proper planning because she's driven by revenge rather than strategy. Amanda thought it through. The pattern's clear to her experienced mind. We can predict that, but use it. You want to let her attack us? I want to let her think she's attacking us. The strategy crystallized. We feed her false intelligence, make her think we're vulnerable in Busan. She hits us there with everything she's got, exposing her forces and her allies. We identify everyone involved, then dismantle them systematically. Minseo nodded slowly. That's cold. That's survival. Amanda met Taemin's gaze. You taught me that. I created a monster, he said, but he was smiling. No, you released one. They spent the next hour planning the operation. Amanda coordinated with Minseo, while Taemin handled the muscle side, positioning people, preparing defenses, setting up surveillance. It felt natural now, this partnership. Amanda the brain, Taemin the sword, moving in sync. As the meeting ended and Minseo left, Amanda found herself alone with Taemin again. Can I ask you something? Always. Do you regret it? That night I came to your club asking for one night? Regret? He looked genuinely confused. Amanda, you've transformed my entire organization. Revenue's up, efficiency's improved, our strategic position is stronger than it's been in 5 years. Why would I regret the best decision I never knew I was making? Because I'm 69. Because at some point, age will catch up with the surge. Will it? He challenged. Because I've watched you over the past 6 weeks, and you've gotten sharper, faster, more dangerous every day. Age isn't slowing you down, it's accelerating you. Amanda wanted to believe that. Wanted to think the surge was permanent, not just a temporary burst that would eventually fade. What if it stops? Then we'll adapt. Together. He took her hand. You asked me once what our partnership looked like. Here's your answer. You keep surging forward, using 69 years of wisdom as your weapon, and I keep providing the resources for you to surge with. That's our empire. Our empire, Amanda repeated, testing the words. They felt right. 3 days later, the trap was set. Ji-won had taken the bait, False intelligence about a vulnerable shipment in Busan leaked through channels they knew she was monitoring. Amanda watched surveillance feeds from the new headquarters as Ji-won's forces mobilized. 20 vehicles, Min Seo reported, maybe 60 people. She's committed everything. Good. Amanda felt cold calculations settling over her. The surge focused into a laser. Time in. Are your people in position? Every approach is covered. They'll be boxed in before they realize it's a trap. And the documentation? Recording everything. Everyone who participates in this attack will be identified and tracked. Amanda nodded, satisfied. This was her plan, her strategy. If it worked, they'd eliminate the last significant threat to their empire. If it failed, she didn't let herself think about failure. Ji-won's convoy hit the Busan location exactly on schedule. Aggressive, confident, overwhelming. They breached the warehouse and found nothing. Just empty space and cameras. The confusion was visible even through surveillance feeds. Now, Amanda said quietly. Taemin's people moved. Not attacking, just surrounding. Blocking exits. Trapping Ji-won's entire force in the warehouse with no violence. No shots fired. Just overwhelming tactical superiority. Amanda watched Ji-won realize she'd been played. The younger woman's face on the cameras showed fury, then fear, then resignation. It was over in minutes. All prisoners secured, Hyun-woo reported. No casualties. Perfect. Amanda felt satisfaction, but no joy. This wasn't about revenge or emotion. It was about consolidation, security, sending a message. Taemin, your move. He made the call himself, speaking directly to Ji-won in the warehouse. Amanda listened to the one-sided conversation, hearing Taemin offer terms. Submit completely or be destroyed completely. There would be no middle ground. Ji-won chose submission. It's done, Taemin said, ending the call. He looked at Amanda with something like reverence. You just unified the entire Seoul underworld under our control. Peacefully. Not peacefully. Strategically. But Amanda felt the weight of it. The responsibility, the power, the sheer magnitude of what she'd accomplished. 6 weeks ago, I couldn't even get my children to return my calls. Now I'm dictating terms to a Mafia organization. How does it feel? Terrifying. Exhilarating. She met his gaze. Like everything I should have been doing my entire life. Min Seo burst into the command center, her expression urgent. We have a problem. Dai Jung, the traitor we caught, he just made a call from lockup to the police. Amanda's tactical mind immediately saw the implications. He's trying to cut a deal, trading information about our operations for immunity. Can he do real damage? Taemin demanded. He knows too much. Locations, operations, names. Min Seo pulled up files. If he talks, we're looking at massive exposure. The room fell silent. Amanda could see Taemin calculating, weighing risks, considering solutions, all of them violent. We need to move operations, he said finally. Scatter everything he knows about, establish new... Or we neutralize the threat, Amanda interrupted. Everyone looked at her. You mean kill him, Min Seo said flatly. I mean remove him as a threat, permanently. Amanda felt the surge pushing her toward cold pragmatism. He betrayed us. He's trying to destroy everything we've built. The solution is obvious. Amanda, Taemin said carefully, ordering an execution is different from killing in self-defense. This is calculated murder. This is survival. She held his gaze. You taught me that mercy is a luxury this world doesn't allow. Was that lesson only for other people? No, but I want you to be certain. Because once you cross this line, I crossed it 6 weeks ago when I walked into your club. Amanda felt the truth of that in her bones. Everything since then has been about surging forward, not looking back. Dai Jung made his choice when he betrayed you. I'm making mine by eliminating the threat he represents. Taemin studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded. Hyun-woo, handle it. Quietly. As the order went out, Amanda felt something settle inside her. Not guilt, not regret, but a kind of clarity. She'd become someone who could order deaths without hesitation. Someone dangerous and powerful, and utterly unrecognizable from the woman who'd entered that club 6 weeks ago. The surge had changed her completely, and she had no intention of going back. That night, alone in the penthouse, Amanda stood at the window and wondered who she'd become. The city lights blurred through unexpected tears. Not sadness exactly, but something more complex. Recognition, maybe, of how far she'd traveled in such a short time. Taemin found her there. Min Seo says Dai Jung's handled, the threat's neutralized. Good. Amanda's voice was steady despite the tears. Then we're secure. We are. He moved beside her. But you're not. What's wrong? I don't know who I am anymore. The confession burst out. 6 weeks ago, I knew exactly who Amanda Wheels was. A widow, a mother, an invisible old woman waiting to die. Now I'm someone who orders executions, someone who runs a criminal empire, someone who's more alive than she's been in decades. She turned to him. Which one is real? Both. Neither. Timon took her hand. You want the truth? You're not becoming someone new. You're revealing someone who was always there, buried under 69 years of being told who you should be. So I was always capable of murder? You were always capable of surviving. This world just requires different survival methods than your previous one. He wiped a tear from her cheek. Do you regret it? Any of it? Amanda took inventory. The violence, the danger, the blood on her hands, literal and metaphorical. Against that, the surge, the purpose, the intoxicating feeling of mattering. No, I don't regret it. Then why the tears? Because I'm mourning the woman I thought I was. She was safe, invisible, irrelevant. But she was also me for 69 years. Amanda looked out at Sol. I'm grieving her, even though I don't want to be her anymore. Timon pulled her close. That's the most honest thing you've ever said to me. They stood together in silence, watching the city that was now partly theirs. Amanda felt the surge still burning. Not as intense as those first explosive days, but steady now, reliable, a new baseline of capability and purpose. Her phone rang, the regular one, not encrypted. She almost didn't answer it. Then she saw the name. Her daughter, Michelle. They hadn't spoken in 7 weeks. I should take this, Amanda said. Timon nodded, giving her space. Amanda answered. Michelle, Mom, where are you? Her daughter's voice was sharp with worry. You haven't answered my calls in weeks. I was about to file a missing persons report. I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. That's not an answer. Where are you? Amanda looked around the penthouse. Evidence of wealth and power and danger on every surface. How could she explain this to her daughter? How could she explain that her boring, invisible mother had become someone Michelle wouldn't recognize? I'm in Seoul, she said finally. I took an extended vacation. Seoul? Mom, you can barely afford groceries. How are you in Seoul? I met someone who values me. Not a lie, just incomplete truth. I'm thinking of staying. Staying? In Korea? Mom, you're 69 years old. You can't what? Amanda felt anger flash. Can't make my own decisions? Can't find purpose in my life? Can't be anything except the declining old woman you've decided I am? Silence. Then, that's not fair, isn't it? When was the last time you asked what I wanted instead of telling me what I needed? When did you last see me as a person instead of an obligation? Mom, I'm 69 years old, Michelle. Not dead, not helpless. And for the first time in 17 years, I'm actually living. Amanda's voice softened. I love you, but I'm not coming back to be the mother you expect. I'm done being invisible. She ended the call before Michelle could respond. Timon raised an eyebrow. That sounded intense. She wanted to know where I was. I told her I'm living. Amanda set down the phone. I didn't tell her what that means now. Will you ever? I don't know. How do you explain to your children that their mother has become someone they wouldn't approve of, but who finally feels authentic? You don't. You just live it. Amanda considered that. Considered the woman she'd been. Dutiful, dismissed, disappearing. And the woman she was now. Dangerous, decisive, vital. The surge isn't temporary, is it? No, it's who you always were, finally unleashed. Then I'm keeping it. Amanda felt certainty crystallize. I'm not going back. Not to invisibility, not to irrelevance, not to slowly dying while my heart still beats. Good. Timon's smile was predatory, proud, because we're just getting started. 2 weeks later, Amanda sat in what had become her office, adjacent to Timon's, decorated with efficiency rather than luxury. Minseo had just finished briefing her on their expanded operations when Hyunwoo knocked. We have a visitor, he said, his tone cautious. Claims she has information you need to hear. About? About Baek Sunwoo. He's still alive. Amanda's blood went cold. Sunwoo was the Baek operations chief they'd thought died in the Busan police trap. If he'd survived, bring her in. The woman who entered was young, maybe 25, with nervous eyes and careful movements. Mrs. Wheels? That's me. I'm Na-yeon. I worked for Baek Sunwoo. She glanced at Hyunwoo nervously. I want to defect, but I need protection. Why? Because Sunwoo didn't die in Busan. He escaped before the police arrived, and he's planning retaliation. Amanda felt tactical instincts activate. Sit and talk. Na-yeon spilled everything. How Sunwoo had suspected the Busan trap, sent his people but stayed behind himself, watched his organization fall, and spent the past weeks planning revenge. He's obsessed with you specifically, Mrs. Wheels. Me? Why? Because you're the one who destroyed him. Ji-won told him everything before she submitted. How you strategized, how you predicted his moves, how you used invisibility as a weapon. Na-yeon leaned forward. He's researching you. Your history, your family, your life. He's looking for weaknesses? Amanda's mind raced. A focused enemy who knew she existed, who was studying her, who wanted revenge. This was new. Dangerous. What's his plan? I don't know details, but he's hired outside contractors, professionals, not gangsters. And he's targeting something called late life surge. He keeps saying if he can break your surge, you'll collapse. The words hit Amanda like a physical blow. Sunwoo understood. He'd identified the source of her power, the accumulated energy of 69 years suddenly unleashed, and he wanted to kill it. When? Amanda demanded. Soon. Days, maybe. Where is he? I don't know. He's been moving constantly, staying off cameras. Na-yeon pulled out a thumb drive. But this has everything I do know. His contacts, his resources, his patterns. Amanda took the drive, her mind already working through implications. An enemy who understood her strength, who was specifically trying to counter it, who had the resources and intelligence to be a real threat. This was the test. The moment when the surge would either prove permanent or collapse under targeted attack. Hyunwoo, secure Na-yeon, protective custody, full security. Amanda stood. And get Taemin, now. 20 minutes later, their command team assembled. Amanda laid out the threat while Minseo analyzed the drive's contents. Sunwoo's good, Minseo admitted. He's got contacts we didn't know about, resources we haven't tracked, and he's specifically targeting our operation's weak points. Which are? Taemin asked. Amanda. Minseo pulled up profiles. He's identified that she's central to our strategic planning. If he can eliminate or discredit her, our recent expansion becomes vulnerable. He can't eliminate me, Amanda said with more confidence than she felt. I'm too well protected. But he can discredit you, Minseo countered. Look at this. She displayed documents. He's building a file on your criminal activities. If he leaks this to authorities, or worse, to your family, he creates chaos without firing a shot. Amanda felt ice in her stomach. Her children learning she'd become a killer. Her grandchildren seeing evidence of her crimes. The shame, the horror, the complete destruction of their image of her. He's smart, Taemin said grimly, going after emotional vulnerabilities instead of physical ones. So we stop him first, Amanda said. We find him and eliminate him before he can act. Agreed. But how? He's ghost mode. No digital footprint, no pattern we can exploit. Amanda thought about that. Thought about patterns and psychology and 69 years of reading people. He's obsessed with me. With breaking the surge. That's his weakness. Explain. Obsession makes you predictable. He's researching me, studying me, building this psychological profile. She looked at Taemin. What if we give him what he wants? Make me vulnerable. Draw him out. Absolutely not, Taemin said immediately. It's the only way. He won't attack if he thinks I'm protected. But if I look exposed, isolated, weak, Amanda felt the strategy crystallizing. He'll come for me himself. He'll want to break the surge personally. And you want to use yourself as bait. I want to end this threat before it metastasizes. Amanda met his gaze. The surge made me powerful. Now I use that power to protect what we've built. The room fell silent. Then Minseo spoke up. It could work. If we control the environment, maintain hidden security, monitor everything. It's risky, but viable. It's insane, Hyunwoo countered. It's necessary, Amanda said firmly. Sunwoo wants to prove that my surge is fragile, that I'm just an old woman playing at being dangerous. Let's prove him wrong. Taemin studied her, conflict clear in his expression. Finally, if we do this, we do it my way. Total control, overwhelming backup, and you follow orders absolutely. Agreed. And Amanda, if this goes wrong, then I die protecting something that matters. That's more than I had 6 weeks ago. They set the trap carefully. Amanda made herself visible, shopping in public markets, walking in parks, behaving like a civilian. But everywhere she went, Taemin's people watched from shadows. Cameras tracked her movements. Snipers held overwatch positions. For 3 days, nothing happened. Then, Na-yeon confirmed. Sunwoo's moving. He's seen the pattern. He's planning to intercept Amanda tomorrow at her regular walking route. The walking route was Amanda's idea, a park path she'd established as routine, seemingly unguarded, but actually covered by 20 armed professionals. If Sunwoo took the bait, he'd walk into a trap more sophisticated than anything he expected. Amanda woke the next morning feeling the surge burning stronger than ever. Not fear, anticipation. This was her test, proof that the explosion of capability and purpose inside her was permanent, not temporary. Taemin caught her hand as she prepared to leave. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. Sunwoo needs to learn that 69 years of accumulated life makes me stronger, not weaker. She kissed him. I'm not fragile. The surge isn't temporary. and I'm done letting anyone think otherwise. The park was beautiful in morning light. Trees, paths, families playing. Amanda walked her route at precisely the planned time, looking relaxed and vulnerable. But her hand was never far from the gun concealed in her jacket. Her eyes tracked movements with practiced efficiency. He made his move at the park's northeast corner, where paths intersected and sightlines got complicated. Amanda saw him approaching, fit, angry, desperate. Sunwoo looked like a man with nothing left to lose. "Mrs. Wheels," he called out, voice carrying. "We need to talk." Amanda stopped, turned to face him. "Beck Sunwoo, I've been expecting you." "Have you?" He moved closer, hands visible but tense. "Then you know why I'm here. To break my surge, to prove I'm just a delusional old woman." Amanda smiled coldly. "You won't succeed." "Won't I?" Sunwoo pulled out a phone. "I have evidence of your crimes, your murders, your conspiracy with Timon. One button and it goes to your family, the police, every news outlet in Seoul. Your surge ends when everyone you care about knows what you've become." Amanda felt her heart rate spike, but kept her voice steady. "Go ahead." "What?" "Send it. Tell my children I'm a killer. Tell the world I run a criminal empire with Timon." She stepped closer. "Because here's what you don't understand about the surge, Sunwoo. It's not about hiding who I am. It's about finally being authentic." "You're insane." "No, I'm free." Amanda felt truth in those words. "For 69 years, I performed who people expected me to be. Dutiful wife, good mother, invisible widow. The surge isn't pretending to be dangerous. It's stopping pretending to be harmless." "So you admit it. You're a criminal." "I'm a survivor who finally found a world that rewards survival." Amanda watched him carefully. "And you're a desperate man making his last play." Sunwoo's finger moved toward the phone's button. Multiple things happened simultaneously. Timon's snipers acquired targets. Hyunwoo's team moved from concealment, and Amanda drew her gun with smooth, practiced efficiency. "Don't," she said quietly. Sunwoo froze. Amanda watched, understanding dawn. He'd walked into a trap, and the 69-year-old woman he'd tried to break was holding him at gunpoint with perfectly steady hands. "You used yourself as bait," he said. "I used his underestimation as a weapon. Just like I've been doing my whole life." Amanda felt cold clarity. "The difference is now I have the power to act on it. So shoot me. Prove how dangerous you are." "No." Amanda lowered the gun slightly. "Shooting you would be easy, boring even. I'm going to do something worse." "What?" "I'm going to let you live." She gestured, and Timon's people emerged from hiding, surrounding them. "You're going to watch as everything you tried to destroy thrives. Watch as I use the surge you wanted to break to build something bigger than your family ever imagined. And every day you're alive, you'll remember that a 69-year-old woman outsmarted you completely." Sunwoo's expression crumbled, rage and despair mixing. Hyunwoo moved to restrain him, but Amanda held up a hand. "One more thing." "You were right about one thing. The surge could be broken. By shame, by fear, by letting other people's judgment matter more than my own truth." She smiled. "But I'm past that. Way past it. So thank you for the test. You proved the surge is permanent." They took Sunwoo into custody. As Timon's people secured the area, Amanda felt something massive settling inside her. Finality, maybe, or acceptance. She'd faced direct attack on her new identity and hadn't flinched. The surge was real, permanent, hers. Timon approached, concern in his eyes. "How do you feel?" "Alive. Powerful." Amanda holstered her gun, "and certain, whatever I've become, it's not going away." "Good." He pulled her close. "Because we're just getting started." That evening, Amanda stood in their headquarters surrounded by evidence of their empire. Maps, files, the organized machinery of power. Min Seo worked at computers, tracking expansions. Hyunwoo coordinated security. Everything ran with efficient precision, but Amanda felt restless. "Talk to me," Timon said, reading her mood. "I'm thinking about what comes next." "Next? We've consolidated control, eliminated threats, expanded operations. We've won." "Have we?" Amanda turned to face him. "Because Sunwoo was right about one thing. I can't hide who I've become forever. Eventually, my family will find out. Society will judge. The surge that makes me powerful will make me a target for moral condemnation. And I'm trying to decide if I care." She moved to the window, looking out at Seoul. 6 weeks ago, I cared desperately about what people thought of me. Now I've killed people, run criminal operations. I've become everything my old life would have condemned. But I feel more authentic than I ever did being good. You're wrestling with whether the surge is worth the cost. No. Amanda shook her head. I'm wrestling with whether there even is a cost, or if that's just society's way of controlling women like me. Timon moved beside her. What do you mean? I mean maybe the real crime isn't what I've done. It's that I've been forced to pretend to be harmless for 69 years just to be acceptable. Amanda felt anger building. How many other women like me are out there? How many 69-year-old women with sharp minds and capable hands who've been told they're done, they're irrelevant, they should quietly disappear? Probably millions. Exactly. And I was one of them until you gave me permission to surge forward. She turned to him. So what if we did it again? Did what? Found more women like me. Gave them purpose, power, permission to be dangerous. Amanda's mind spun with possibilities. We have an empire. What if we used it to create surges in people society has declared finished? Timon stared at her. You want to recruit elderly women into organized crime? I want to give people who have been dismissed a chance to matter. Age is just one category. She warmed to the idea. Think about it. Who does society underestimate? Elderly people, disabled people, women, the poor. What if we built an organization of people everyone overlooks? That's, Timon paused, actually brilliant, invisible army. More than that, it's revolutionary. Amanda felt the surge intensifying. We don't just survive in this world. We reshape it using the exact people the world has discarded. You're serious. Completely. The surge proved something to me. Capability doesn't disappear with age. It accumulates. Every year, every experience, every dismissal, it builds potential. I'm proof. What if there are thousands of others out there just waiting for permission to explode? Timon considered that, his expression shifting from skeptical to intrigued. It would require infrastructure, recruitment, training, massive organizational effort. We have resources, we have territory, we have proof of concept. Amanda gestured at herself. I'm the prototype, Timon. A 69-year-old woman who became essential to your empire in 6 weeks. Imagine what we could do with 100 like me. 1,000. We'd be unstoppable. Exactly. They stood in silence, contemplating the magnitude of what Amanda was proposing. Then Timon laughed, loud, genuine, delighted. You're absolutely insane. I'm 69, and finally thinking clearly. This isn't what I expected when you walked into my club asking for one night. It's not what I expected either. Amanda took his hand. But the surge doesn't end with me being satisfied. It ends with me changing the game for everyone who comes after me. Then let's do it. Timon pulled her close. Let's build your revolution. Amanda felt certainty crystallize. This was what the surge had been building toward. Not just her personal transformation, but using that transformation to reshape the world for others. There's one problem. What? Sunwoo's threat. My family finding out what I've become. If we're going public with this kind of recruitment, there's no hiding anymore. So don't hide. Timon's voice was challenging. Own it. Tell your family the truth. Let them judge. And then do it anyway. Amanda thought about that. Thought about her daughter Michelle's voice on the phone, full of expectation and dismissal. Thought about her grandchildren who barely knew her. Her old friends who drifted away when she became boring. You're right, she said finally. The surge can't be authentic if I'm still hiding. So? So I tell them. All of it. Amanda felt resolve hardening. I tell them I'm 69 years old and more alive than I've ever been. I tell them I've done terrible things and felt powerful doing them. I tell them I'm not coming back to be the woman they're comfortable with. They won't understand. I don't need them to. I just need them to know I've chosen this, deliberately, powerfully. Amanda met his gaze. The surge isn't about being acceptable anymore. It's about being authentic. Even if it costs you your family, my family already cost me myself. For 17 years after my husband died, I shrank and dimmed and disappeared trying to be what they needed. I can't do that anymore. Timon kissed her, fierce, proud, possessive. Then make the call. Start your revolution with the hardest conversation. Amanda pulled out her phone, found Michelle's number, and before she could second-guess herself, she called. Mom? Michelle answered immediately. Thank God, I've been worried sick. Don't be, I'm fine. Better than fine. Amanda took a breath. But I need to tell you something about who I've become. Mom, you're scaring me. Good. You should be scared. Not of me. For me. Because I'm about to tell you things that will change how you see me forever. Amanda looked out at Seoul, at the empire she'd helped build, at the surge still burning inside her. And I need you to understand something before I start. I'm not asking for permission or forgiveness. I'm telling you who I am now. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that I'm 69 years old, and I've spent the last 6 weeks becoming someone you won't recognize. Someone dangerous and powerful, and finally authentic. Amanda felt tears on her cheeks but kept her voice steady. I've killed people, Michelle. I run criminal operations. I'm in love with a Mafia boss, and I'm helping him build an empire. And I'm not sorry. Silence. Then, you're joking. I'm not. I've never been more serious in my life. Mom, this isn't funny. It's not meant to be funny. It's meant to be true. Amanda forged ahead. For 17 years, I was invisible. You and your brothers saw me as an obligation, a burden, someone to be managed. I saw myself the same way. But then I met someone who saw me as powerful, who saw my 69 years as an asset, not a liability, and something inside me exploded. You've lost your mind. Maybe, or maybe I found it after 69 years of losing myself. Amanda let Michelle hear the truth in her voice. I'm not coming back. Not to that apartment, not to that life, not to being the woman you expected. I'm surging forward and I'm not stopping. Mom, please, this doesn't sound like you. That's the point. The person you knew wasn't really me. She was who I thought I had to be loved. But I don't need that love anymore. I have purpose. I have power. I have a reason to wake up burning with energy instead of dreading another empty day. Michelle's voice cracked. You're saying you'd choose crime over your family? I'm saying I'm choosing myself. If you want to be part of that, I'm here. But I'm done shrinking to fit into your comfort zone. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Just know that I'm alive. Really, truly alive. For the first time since your father died. Amanda wiped her tears. I love you, but I love myself more now. And that's not negotiable. She ended the call before Michelle could respond. Her hands shook, her heart hammered, but the surge burned steady and strong. She'd done it, chosen authenticity over approval, chosen the revolution over comfort. Timon wrapped his arms around her from behind. How do you feel? Terrified, liberated. Amanda leaned into him. Like I just set fire to my old life and I'm watching it burn. Any regrets? Not one. Then let's build something from the ashes. 3 months later, Amanda stood in a training facility they'd built in an abandoned factory. 20 women surrounded her, ranging from 60 to 78 years old, all recruited carefully, all with stories like hers, dismissed, invisible, hungry for purpose. Welcome to the Surge program, Amanda said, her voice carrying authority she'd earned through blood and strategy. You're here because society decided you were finished, but you know better. You know that 60, 70, 80 years of life doesn't make you weak. It makes you dangerous. The women watched her with sharp, hungry eyes. Amanda recognized that look. She'd worn it 6 months ago. Over the next 6 weeks, you'll learn everything I learned. Strategy, tactics, how to weaponize the invisibility society forces on you, how to turn dismissal into advantage. She paced in front of them. But more than that, you'll learn to surge, to take 60, 70, 80 years of accumulated capability and unleash it all at once. One woman raised her hand. Park Sunja, 74, widowed, brilliant. What if we fail? You won't. Because failing means going back to being invisible. And none of you can stomach that anymore. Amanda smiled. I know because I was you. 6 months ago, I walked into a Mafia boss's club asking for one night of feeling alive. I got a revolution instead. And you're giving us the same? I'm giving you permission. Permission to be dangerous, permission to matter, permission to surge forward with everything you've been forced to suppress. Amanda looked at each woman. The rest is up to you. Training began. Amanda watched as women who'd been called grandmothers and burdens learned to strategize, to fight, to think like predators instead of prey. She saw the surge beginning in each of them, that explosive moment when accumulated years suddenly became power instead of liability. Timon found her observing from the facility's upper level. 20 women so far. Mincio says we have 300 more applications. Good. We'll need them. You're building an army of elderly women. I'm building a revolution of people society dismissed. Amanda turned to him. Age is just the beginning. Next, we recruit disabled veterans, former abuse survivors, anyone who's been told they're finished but isn't. And then we change everything. Amanda felt the surge burning as strong as ever, maybe stronger. The Mafia world runs on fear and respect. We add a third element, underestimation. Nobody sees us coming because nobody thinks we matter. Until we do. Exactly. They stood together, watching the training below. The Park Sunja was currently taking down an opponent 30 years younger, using pure tactical thinking and accumulated life experience. The instructor was impressed. Do you ever regret it? Taman asked quietly. Your old life? Your family? Amanda considered that honestly. I regret the wasted years. The decades I spent being harmless when I could have been powerful. But the old life itself? No. That was a cage I didn't recognize until you helped me escape. Your daughter still hasn't called back. I know. She's processing. Maybe she'll come around, maybe she won't. Amanda met his gaze. But I can't make myself invisible again just to make her comfortable. The surge won't allow it. And if you had to choose, family or this? I already chose. The day I told Michelle the truth. Amanda felt certainty in her bones. I'm 69 years old, Tayman. I don't have time to waste on people who need me to be less so they can feel comfortable. I have a revolution to build. He kissed her. Still hungry, still claiming, still dangerous. Then let's keep surging forward. That night, alone in the penthouse, Amanda received an unexpected email from Michelle. Her hands shook as she opened it. Mom, I've spent 3 months trying to understand what you told me. I can't, but I've also been researching what you described. Organized crime, the Korean Mafia, the impossible things you claim to have done. And I found evidence. Photos of you at that club. News articles about Mafia conflicts in Seoul that match your timeline. Encrypted communications Mincio apparently didn't secure tightly enough. You weren't lying. But you really did become someone else. I should report you. Turn you into authorities. Save you from yourself. But here's what I realized. The woman I knew, my mother, the widow, the grandmother, she was dying slowly. I watched it happen for 17 years and told myself she was aging gracefully, when really she was just fading away. The woman in those photos, she's alive. Terrifying, unrecognizable, probably insane, but alive. I can't condone what you've done. I won't pretend to understand it. But I also can't ignore that you sounded more authentic in that phone call than you have in 2 decades. So here's my offer. I won't report you. I won't try to stop you. But I also can't be part of your new life. It's too far from everything I believe. We're at an impasse where the only option is distance. I hope you find what you're looking for, Mom. I hope the surge is worth everything it cost. And I hope someday you'll be able to look at yourself without flinching at what you've become. I love you. I always will. But I don't know who you are anymore. Michelle Amanda read the email 3 times, feeling emotions war inside her. Grief, relief, anger, acceptance. Her daughter had chosen distance, had chosen not to understand, had chosen to love her from far away where Amanda's transformation couldn't threaten Michelle's worldview. It hurt, but it didn't break her. I don't need you to understand, Amanda whispered to the empty room. I just needed you to know. She deleted the email, poured herself whiskey, and stood at the window watching Seoul's lights. 6 months ago, losing Michelle's approval would have destroyed her. Now it was just data, information to process and move past.